Hello everyone, and welcome to the American Friends of Kidum's virtual Spring Gala. We are delighted to have attendees from over a dozen states and Canada with us right now. My name is Ray Ringel. I'm the president of the Ringel Group and a faculty member at the Georgetown University Institute for Transformational Leadership, and I am a proud member of the AFK board. AFK is the U.S. arm of the Society for Advancement of Education, an organization that has been reimagining education in Israel for nearly 6 decades. During the gala, we will see and hear how SAE's high schools and residences are changing education and transforming lives in nearly every sector of Israeli society. For now, I want to thank all of you for participating with us and remind you that if you have received a gala party pack, please enjoy it during the program. And if you'd like, please use the chat room during the gala to share your thoughts or ask any questions. During the gala, we will see how SAE met the challenges of the pandemic. We will visit some of SAE's innovative new schools. We will meet some extraordinary graduates. We will look to the future to gain a glimpse of the schools and programs just over the horizon. And we can look forward to a special musical performance by Israeli international singing star Noah, Achinoam Nini, and Gil Dor, which I'm sure you will enjoy. To start things off, it is now my honor and privilege to introduce the man who has led SAE to an unprecedented period of growth and achievement over the past decade, the Executive Director of the Society for Advancement of Education, Eitan Moran.
Thank you, Ray, and welcome everybody to our virtual Spring Gala. The COVID-19 unfortunately forced us for social distancing, but I promise you, you are all close and deep in our heart. So join us for a wonderful evening of learning and being close together. I've been born and grew up in Jerusalem. My father, rest in peace, Ephraim, was a blacksmith, and my mother, Ruth, rest in peace, was a nanny. So I grew up in an underprivileged family, but a family that her legacy was a hard labor and fully commitment to their family. But I have the privilege to learn in the Hebrew University and then being accepted and graduated the Mandel Leadership Institution. So I know something about excellence institution. This is exactly what we are doing here in the SAE, promoting children from disadvantaged background toward excellence in education. After graduating the Mandel Leadership Institution, our beloved chairman, Yossi Ashkenazi, chose me to lead this huge ship, educational ship, through a better future for the entire Israeli society. I took this opportunity with great fears, like the cantor in the Day of the Atonement. But I know something from my religious background. כי לתקן שלחוני. They sent me to repair. And this is what we are trying to do here. To repair the better future for our students that are coming from entire Israeli society. Since 1962, we are working under the testimony of our funders. Great visionary that order us the way, the Jesselson family, the Boyer family, and the Steinberg family. Family that did a remarkable change in the Israeli society, establishing the campus for leadership in Kfar Saba, in Netanya, and in Jerusalem. Thousands of graduates know that those institutions changed their life for the better. We took this vision and we translated it to the 4 tribes of the Israeli society. In the last few years, we established the first yeshiva for ultra-Orthodox boys that in one hand allowed them to maintain their commitment to the word, to the ultra-Orthodox religious perspective, but in the other hand, allow them to gain the general knowledge, math, English, and full matriculation exam, so they can pave the way through higher education for the best of their families. Then we establish Shoshanim, Roses, the seminar for ultra-Orthodox girls, that in one hand allow them to learn arts in the highest level, and on the other hand, learning science in the deepest and highest level in Israel. 5 years ago, we stepped into another challenge. How to dare and cross the bridge, working with and for the Arab society. We did have the spirit to establish the first Arab youth village called Sindiana. Within 4 years, we have 400 students in this campus. 3 years ago, we faced a huge challenge. How to empower young women so they can fulfill their potential. We took an oath and we established the first feminist school, not necessarily religious school, but mainly empowering young women to fulfill their potential with a very high feminist perspective. The first feminist school called Inbar. As we all know, the last year was not a simple year. We needed to face the ups and downs of the COVID-19. But this is exactly when leadership is being tested. And I have to tell you that our 16 principals that in charge of high school and boarding school function 24/7 with full commitment to their student. 3,000 students watched them and took their self-confidence to function, to learn, to design a curriculum with less than 3 days, to shift from teaching to virtual teaching, but more and above all, being committed to their well-being. Please join me for a short virtual tour, knowing how our students cope with this COVID-19. Thank you, have a wonderful evening.
כאן לשבת? אוקיי.
את תיכנסי קודם. לא, את תיכנסי. אני? לא, את.
וואו, איזה סטודיו. מה עושים עכשיו? שאלות? סתם. היי, דבר אליי.
מתחילים? מה נשמע? מה שלומכם? איך אתם עברתם את הקורונה?
רגע משמעותי במיוחד שחווית במהלך תקופת הקורונה. וואו.
התחברתי ממש למשפחה שלי.
ונורא רציתי לאכול משהו והבנתי שאני יכולה לחמם בעצמי. הבנתי שאני יכולה להכין לעצמי אוכל ולעשות בעצמי. זה היה נורא נחמד, ומאז אני אוכלת לבד.
כאילו היה הרבה דברים משמעותיים.
כשאני מגיע הביתה אני יושב איתם בסלון ואני מדבר איתם ואני משחק איתם וכאילו יותר קשור למשפחה שלי.
ואז פתאום בתקופת הקורונה היינו הרבה יותר עם המשפחה.
החיזוק של הקשר עם אבא שלי במיוחד, זה היה חיזוק מאוד משמעותי בשבילי.
מה השתנה בדרך שבה את לומדת בבית הספר בזכות הקורונה?
חסר את כל אתה לא עם החברים שלך, וזה כאילו, למה אתה בא לבית ספר? כאילו כן ללמוד, אבל אתה בא גם לבית ספר, כאילו להיות עם חברים שלך.
באתי פשוט כי חייבו אותי, ועכשיו אחרי הקורונה אני קלטתי עד כמה אני צריך באמת להעריך את הבית ספר.
כדי ללמוד בזום הייתי צריך מחשב, ולא היה לי באותו זמן, בתקופת הסגר הראשון, לא היה לי מחשב בבית, ובאמת הפנימיה דאגה לי, והביאה לי עד הבית מחשב נייד, כדי ללמוד איתו בזום.
ללמד את עצמי, ללכת לגוגל, לבדוק מה אני יודעת, מה אני לא יודעת.
אתה כל היום בטלפון, כאילו אין לך לאן ללכת.
עושה מה בא לך, כאילו אתה על הבוקר, פתאום אין לך כוח, ואתה קם בלי חשק בכלל להיכנס לזום.
אין לי חיבור באינטרנט, יש לי המון משהו לעשות עם המחשב, עם הלימודים. זה היה משהו כאילו מטורף, מה אני אעשה פה, מה אני עושה פה, מה לעשות.
כאילו נדפק היום.
כן.
זהו, אז לא הייתי בשיעורים, וגם אם הייתי, היה לי ממש קשה להקשיב, כי בהתחלה הייתי בטלפון, ובטלפון כאילו יש לך את ההתראות של אינסטגרם ושל וואטסאפ.
בשבילי זה מאוד קשה
קשה להתרכז, קשה לשבת כל היום מול המסך.
ספר על חוויה לימודית חדש שהקורונה יצרה עבורך.
חוויה, אם אפשר לקרוא לזה חוויה.
להיות בבית, כאילו, ללמוד זה מוזר ממש, גם לקום ולהיות במיטה, זה לא משהו שאתה רגיל עליו, שאתה לומד.
אף אחד לא מכריח אותך ללמוד, אתה כאילו, אתה צריך לעשות את זה על דעת עצמך.
זה משהו שהוא קשה לעבור, משהו שהוא, במיוחד כשאנחנו שנה חדשה בבית ספר. אני מגיע פעם ראשונה לבית ספר, קפסולות, ואני לא מכיר את הכיתה שלי, אני לא מכיר את השכבה שלי, אני לא מכיר אף אחד חוץ את הפנימייה, שאני איתם 24 שעות.
נסכם את זה בשלוש מילים, אכזבה, מתח, תסכול. זה
מה היית מאמץ מתקופת הקורונה ביום שאחרי?
הייתי מאמצת לקום מאוחר.
להשתלב יותר עם המשפחה, לשבת איתם, לאכול אותם, לראות אותם יותר.
אני יודעת מה הייתי מאמצת.
מה?
קניות ברשת.
את החברה, את המשפחה, את הקשר ההדוק עם כל האנשים שקרובים אליך.
פתאום אתה רואה כאילו הרבה יותר מקפידים על ניקיון.
יש ריח של...
אקונומיקה. זה מאוד נחמד, אני מאוד אוהבת.
איך שמרת קשרים חברתיים בתקופת הקורונה?
זאת שאלה.
היה לי מאוד קשה, כי אני ממש רגיל להיות בחוץ כל הזמן ולהיות עם חברים שלי 24/7. פשוט שלחתי להם אס-אמסים ופייסטיים, וכשיכולנו להיפגש בחוץ נפגשנו, ועכשיו שהם מחוסנים אז יותר קל.
הכרתי את שם ומלא חברות חדשות.
כן, אבל כשחזרנו לבית ספר זה היה נורא פשוט להתחבר מחדש.
אנחנו בפנימיה, כולנו היינו ביחד, למדנו, שיחקנו, נהנינו.
אני יואל ועוד כמה חברים. שיחקנו כל היום פאבג'י, ודרך המשחק אפשר לדבר עם החברים.
אגב, מי שלא יודע מה זה פאבג'י זה משחק מחשב.
באמת, יותר וואטסאפ, אינסטגרם, שיחות זום.
בילינו הרבה זמן ביחד בגלל שאנחנו גרים באותו בניין, באותה פנימייה, וזה היה כיף.
אתה מאחלת לעצמך לשנה הקרובה.
אוקיי, אני אגיד בריאות, שבכללי זה נשמע כזה משהו שאומרים ביום הולדת כשאין מה להגיד, אבל בתקופה הזו זה נורא חשוב.
חושבת עכשיו שאני אלך לסבא וסבתא שלי, ואני אחבק אותם ונשק אותם.
סתם, אני כאילו מאחלת לעצמי שאני צריך לחזור למה שהיה לפני.
אבל הכי חשוב, לחזור ללימודים.
שנחזור כבר ללימודים הפרונטליים.
שאני צריך לצמצם את החומר?
וגם כאילו לחזור לחיים הרגילים שלנו, לחזור ליציאות, לבית ספר.
יפתחו את השמיים ואוכל לטוס הביתה ולבקר את המשפחה שלי ולחבק אותה, כי לא ראיתי את המשפחה שלי כבר הרבה זמן, כמעט שנתיים.
וואו, באמת כאילו שנצא מזה כבר. כי כבר הגיע לפה.
נגמרו הכרטיסים.
עוד משהו? לא, זהו.
לקום.
יאללה, נקום ונלך.
טוב, יאללה, נראה לי נזוז.
יאללה, סיימנו, מיצינו, יאללה, ביי.
זה נגמר? היה כיף לי.
Wow, what a delight to meet so many SAE students and get their views about how COVID affected their learning and their lives. As you saw, they represent, as SAE schools and residences do, a cross-section of Israel's population, secular, Orthodox, ultra-Orthodox, and Arab. Our thanks to all these students who took time out from their studies to share their thoughts with us. It is heartening that they are facing the future with such optimism and confidence. In spite of the lockdowns and the uncertainties of the past year, SAE's academic programs have continued to flourish. Our colleagues in Israel have spent the last few weeks putting together a fresh look at these extraordinary schools and programs. You are about to meet some of the educational leaders and students who are breaking new ground and serving as role models for other educational institutions in Israel. And now, for the world premiere of SAE, Empowering Through Education.
ביאצי, אני מבאקה אל-גרבייה. אני ניהלתי בית ספר תיכון בבאקה אל-גרבייה והייתי המנהלת הערבייה הראשונה שמנהלת תיכון. ובאנו בכדי להקים את כפר הנוער הערבי הראשון בחברה הערבית.
Hi, my name is Muhammad. I'm from Kfar Kara. I study at El Sindiana School and I'm in 11th grade.
הרעיון של סינדיאנה הוא רעיון מאוד פורץ דרך וייחודי בחברה הערבית של כפר נוער, מקום שיש בו בית ספר, יש בו משק חקלאי ובנמייה. אנחנו עובדים בסינדיאנה על 3 ערכים מרכזיים, זהות ותרבות, מנהיגות ומצוינות אקדמית וחברתית. ושלושת האבנים המרכזיות האלה באים לביטוי בתוכנית הלימודים, בפדגוגיה חדשנית, בפרויקטים המיוחדים שאנחנו עושים.
I chose Sindiana because I saw some things and values I couldn't see at other schools. Here we have a special major called Diplomacy and International Communication, which really emphasizes on identity and culture.
חזון שהוא מסתכל על התלמיד כמישהו שהוא יהיה המנהיג של העתיד. אני רוצה בוגר שהוא מכיר את עצמו, הוא גאה בעצמו, הוא רוצה שהחברה שלו תצמח ותהיה חברה הכי טובה שיכולה להיות.
My name is Noah Friedman. I live in Efrat. I'm 16 years old and I'm in 11th grade in Olpanat Taliyah. Before I came to Olpanat Taliyah, I tried every extracurriculum activity in school. I did robotics, extra science, extra math, medicine, anything that was there to challenge me to have to do after school. And I was really looking for a challenge, something to make my high school years meaningful, to achieve some sort of goal that I would be proud of at the end. And when I finally found Taliyah, and I learned that you do a bachelor's degree in high school, I fell in love with the idea of coming to school.
My name is Nechama Grossman. I'm a teacher at the Seminar Shoshanim, which is a Haredi high school for girls in Jerusalem. And I feel very privileged to be part of the seminary. It's a special place, a unique, one-of-a-kind opportunity to be part of the Haredi world and Haredi society and do something different, something special, something new. These girls are coming from Haredi homes. They want to keep the framework, but we're introducing a new language. As a science teacher, I don't see a contradiction between science and Torah or the Jewish world or Jewish philosophy. We're the first Haredi girls' school that teaches art at that level and gives the girls this opportunity.
I'm Miriam Leibowitz Asraf. I'm an educator. 2 years ago, I founded the Inbar School here in Jerusalem. Girls and boys who start the education system in kindergarten will start with an equal opportunities. And as they grow older, the gaps between the opportunities that are open for girls versus boys become bigger and bigger. Creating a separate single-sex environment for girls at the critical age of junior high school and high school is one of the ways, or one of the most effective ways, to influence girls and their choices. Every place that she gets to, she will know that it is not only her right and her privilege to define her dreams and her goals, but it is also her obligation.
My name is Nama Shostak Singal. I teach in Shacharit High School, which is a modern Orthodox high-tech, high-based school. The model says that we need to focus just as much on teaching skills to our students as much as we do in teaching them knowledge. Now, Shacharit is the first high school in Israel who has done this in modern Orthodoxy. In Judaism, if we go back and we look at how did we learned within a Bet Midrash. In Bet Midrash, the rabbi was there and the students learned. And there was that noise of the Bet Midrash that you would hear and that would fill you with excitement, of a passion for learning, of an interest in learning. And that same thing we bring into Shacharit.
My name is Rabbi Israel Riedel. I'm teaching in the yeshiva. The speciality of our yeshiva, and I think, if I can speak frankly, I'm not sure there is another institution who puts this amount of thought in this particular thing. We put the studying in a very high place. We're learning Torah in a very high level. We're learning secular studies in a very high level. But in addition, we see each and every student as an individual, and we care about him, and we want him to succeed as we are looking at a family member.
כהן, אני לומדת בכיתה י"ב אחת, בבית ספר בויר. מעבר לזה שהלימודים פה באמת ברמה גבוהה, וזה מאוד היה חשוב לי ככה לקבל השכלה טובה בשנים האלה, גם כן היה לי מאוד חשוב איזשהו משהו שהוא מעבר, שהתרומה לקהילה שמאוד חשובה פה, החברה פה שהיא מאוד מגוונת, ואני נחשפת ככה כבר בתקופת התיכון לאנשים מכל מיני מקומות בארץ. זה לא קורה בדרך כלל בתיכונים אחרים.
היי, קוראים לי שוהם, אני תלמידת כיתה י"א, מתחלקת בפנימיית שטיינברג מכיתה ז', אני שנה חמישית כאן. פנימיה למצוינות, זה פנימיה לימודית, זה פנימיה חינוכית. לא כל אחד יכול, וזה מקום שמקבל אותך ומראה לך את הפוטנציאל שלך ולאן אתה יכול לשאוף ולהגיע.
What an awesome presentation, and what a special treat to hear directly from so many school principals, teachers, and current students, and get a look at many of SAE's diverse academic programs that are meeting the needs of so many segments of Israeli society. And by now, it should come as no surprise that Eitan Mohan and the SAE team have, even during the pandemic, continued to look ahead and reimagine new programs to meet the evolving educational needs of Israel. Get ready to learn about two new exciting schools from the educators guiding their development. Here we go.
My name is Shachar Yanai, and I'm the director of the International School at the Society for the Advancement of Education. The International School is a unique and new endeavor taken by the Society for the Advancement of Education to create a school that not only looks at global issues and puts them at the center, but also brings students from all around the world to engage with dilemmas that are so pressing in our time. Students coming to the international school will receive an international baccalaureate diploma. The International Baccalaureate, IB in short, diploma is one of the most prestigious diplomas in the world for higher education institutions, and it is also one of the most innovative and rigorous study programs available in the world today. It was designed in advance to cater to the needs of international students from all around the world coming together to one setting. In line with the IB learner profile, we hope to cultivate students that are inquisitive, responsible, and knowledgeable. They'll approach the problems in a caring, open-minded way that is balanced and is open to other views. We hope to bring Jewish youth from all around the world to try to connect them together in a meaningful dialogue that will investigate their respective identities, their commitments, their belief systems, and also give them a hands-on experience with the Israeli society, its livelihood, its challenges, and its amazing people.
Hi, my name is Mumik, father of three, Bar, Paz, and Einav, born and raised in Jerusalem. In the last 2.5 decades, I've been in education. We are scheduled to open our high school, the High School of Sustainability and Social Responsibility, in the next September 2021. I'm 39 years old. Most of the people around me don't really care about the planet, but we do, and want to help them to achieve a better place. How do we do it? We act, and we act fast. We believe that you can't just learn in a class. You need to do things. A school is not just about diploma. A school is about doing something. You need to do something which is not just a piece of paper. You need to look outside and see, whoa, I changed something. I learned something, but it didn't stay inside of me. I went outside and I did something in the world. We don't know what the kids are gonna do when they're gonna be older. We don't know what kind of jobs they're gonna have. We don't know, but we do know that they need to solve problems. Our vision is pretty simple. We believe in kids and we believe in education. We believe that each and every kid can do whatever he wants. The sky is the limit. The question is, how do we help them to achieve their goals? These days, we have a lot of kids who are reaching out to us, and it's amazing to meet them. Now, they're very different. We believe that if we learn from our kids, which are coming from different places, we can learn about the different issues in Israel. And one of the amazing things is to see their sparkling eyes, is to see their care about each other, care about the universe, about global warming, to see their ambition to change something in Israel, even to change something in the world.
With a new international school and a sustainability and social responsibility high school, SAE is continuing to reimagine education in Israel. These new schools and SAE's nationally renowned flagship institutions, like May Boyer High School and the Steinberg Interdisciplinary Residence, have been transforming lives and developing leaders in Israel since the 1960s. SAE's more than 35,000 graduates contribute to every aspect of Israeli life. We'd like to introduce you to just a few of SAE's outstanding graduates right now. And who better to make those introductions than an SAE graduate and my colleague on the AFK Board of Directors, Yedida Bessemer.
Thank you, Ray. Hi, everyone. I'm Yedida Bessemer, and I'm speaking to you from my home in Modesto, California. I was fortunate to live at SAE's Steinberg residence in Kfar Saba during high school, and the tutoring, mentoring, and social support I received there from the dedicated and caring staff and from my fellow students helped me shape the trajectory of my life. I have been an educator and school administrator for nearly 30 years in Israel, Oregon, California, and online. I am very proud that I recently received my doctorate in educational leadership and management, and right now I'm teaching online graduate level courses. As Ray said, SAE graduates been contributing to Israeli society for decades. Here's a quick introduction to just a few. First, here are two of the many graduates who have contributed to Israel's rightful reputation as a global technology leader. Or Ofer, founder and CEO of digital market intelligence company SimilarWeb, and Eyal Waldman, co-founder of big data connectivity chipmaker Mellanox Technologies. Among the many graduates who have or are in key positions in the Israeli Foreign Service are Zion Evroni, Israel's past ambassador to Ireland and the Vatican, Shani Cooper Zubeda, the Israeli ambassador to Ghana, the Ivory Coast, and Liberia, and Amira Oron, the Israeli ambassador to Egypt. Shani and Amira are the only two female Israeli ambassadors in Africa. And I'm delighted to add to this distinguished list my longtime friend from Steinberg residence, Yosef or Yossi Avni Levy, a writer, a diplomat, and an author, and currently Israel's ambassador to Lithuania. Many SAE graduates have excelled in athletics over the years. Two currently in the spotlight are Dia Saba, a former Player of the Year in Israel, who is the first Israeli to play soccer in the United Arab Emirates, signing right after the recent Abraham Accords, and Timna Nelson Levy, a current Israeli judo champion in Israel, who won a bronze medal in recent European Judo Championship. Two young graduates making names for themselves in different fields are Yehudit Meged, a Google scholar and a data scientist at Microsoft in Israel working to teach computers how to read, and Niv Sultan, an actress you may have seen starring in the acclaimed Israeli-produced TV series Tehran, just renewed for a second season on Apple TV. You know they just had elections in Israel. It's something they seem to do a lot. And although things might change, SAE graduate Yariv Levin is the Speaker of the Knesset, Israel's parliament, in effect, Israel's Nancy Pelosi, and graduate Pnina Tamano-Shata is the Israel Minister of Immigrant Absorption, the first Ethiopian-born cabinet member ever in an Israeli government. It's now my great pleasure to introduce another well-known SAE graduate, the internationally renowned singer-songwriter Noah Ahinoam Nini, and her musical partner Gil Dor. Enjoy their performance.
Shalom everybody, shalom. I'm Ahinoam Nini, or Noah.
And I'm Gil Dor.
And we're so happy to be here with you in this event for the Society for the Advancement of Education. Thank you so much for inviting us. I was very, very excited to hear that this society is actually connected to my alma mater, which is the Boyer School in Jerusalem. I have a very strong connection to this school. I went there. But it wasn't just a school for me. It was my gateway to Israel. I was born in Israel. When I was a year old, my parents moved to the United States. I grew up in New York City. And when I was 17 years old, I made Aliyah after having fallen in love with a young man who was studying medicine in Jerusalem. So I wanted to study in Jerusalem. And I was accepted with open arms by the Boyer School. Boyer is actually responsible for the fact that I could make Aliyah by myself because, of course, of the boarding school. I fortunately was able to get accepted. I had good enough grades. And I found myself in this incredible institution in a room with 4 other girls, exposed for the first time actually to the incredible diversity of Israeli society that I didn't know anything about before that. I learned so much in Boya, not only from the excellent teachers, really an excellent academic program, but just from being in that very, very unique atmosphere, and of course being in Jerusalem. And one thing that I remember clearly is that I had the great privilege of being in the dance troupe in Boya, which was headed by the very famous, illustrious Bari Avidan. He was a fantastic choreographer and band leader. And with this group, I had the chance to also travel to Germany and Holland on a youth exchange, a program, a journey that really changed my life and opened my mind in a way that affects me to this day. Many things from these years in Boya I have taken with me on my journey. The values, of course, the graciousness of the staff, the love that I received there, friends that have stayed with me over all of these years. So I guess a great deal of gratitude is due to the Society for the Advancement of Education. It's a little bit of a tongue twister. To all of you for supporting this wonderful school that keeps producing, a grade after grade, year after year of students going out into the world with this incredible platform, so much going for them. So thank you for that. We'd like to start this short program with a song that I wrote right around that time, a little bit afterwards, actually. It was when I finished my military service. I went to Lahaka Tzvait, and then became exposed to the incredible poetry of Leah Goldberg, one of Israel's finest poets. Of course, this is after having met Gil Dor, the amazing Gil, at the Rimon School of Music, and starting our career that has taken us around the world, 31 years together. And we've written so many songs. And this is one of our first songs. It has become a very, very well-loved song for us. And it has a lot to do with the way I was feeling and all that formative period when I was in Boya. It is called Ilanot.
כאן לא אשמע את כל הקוקייה,
בארץ מצנפת שלג, אבל בצל האורנים האלה כל ילדותי שקמה נדחיה. טלטול המחטים היה אקרא מולדת למרחב השלג, לקרח ירקרק קובל הפלג, ללשון השיר בארץ נוכריה. I remember those snow-capped mountains and a song on FM 93. Oh, my darling, I have grown with you, but my roots on both sides of the sea. אולי רק ציפורי מסע יודעות כשהן תלויות בין ארץ לשמיים, את זה הכאב של שתי המולדות. איתכם אני נשתלתי פעמיים, איתכם אני צמחתי אורנים בשורשיי, בשני נופים שונים, שורשיי בשני נופים שונים. איתכם אני נשתלתי פעמיים, איתכם אני צמחתי אורנים בשורשיי, בשני נופים שונים, שורשיי בשני נופים שונים. I remember those snow-capped mountains and a song on FM 93. Oh, my darling, I have grown with you, my roots, you know my roots on both sides of the sea. My roots on both sides of the sea, שורשיי בשני נופים שונים. Woo! That was Ilanot, beautiful, beautiful poem by Leah Goldberg. I translated, I didn't actually translate it, I just sort of worked off of the lyric to write a part in English. And I felt such a huge resonance with this incredible poet. I was thinking, as I was thinking about those pines that that are everywhere in Jerusalem, maybe not exactly the same variation that Leah Goldberg had in her native home, which was Poland, I think, Germany, Poland. But still beautiful, and everywhere around Boyle, of course, a short walk, you're in that kind of wood, which is another beautiful thing about studying there. So as I told you that before, Gil and I have been working for so many years together. Our career has brought us to the most magnificent places, including the Vatican, where we performed for Pope John Paul II, and then for Pope Benedict, and then for Pope Francis, so many times, and absolutely formative experience for us, groundbreaking. And we've had the chance to be involved in so many beautiful initiatives for peace, concerts and collaborations and forums and conferences around the world, and raise our voice for peace, which has been a great, great honor. And one of the most amazing things that has happened to us is having been approached by the great composer Nicola Piovani and by Roberto Benigni, one of the greatest actors and film producers in Italy and in the world, to write lyrics and to produce and perform the theme song from the incredible film Life is Beautiful, La Vita è Bella, which won the Oscar. I guess this lyric really encapsulates our view of life and of the world, and our true and strong belief that there is no tragedy that the beauty and the love and the human spirit cannot overcome. And this has led us throughout our career in our quest for beauty in music and in the human spirit. So here it is, beautiful that way. Smile without a reason why. Love as if you were a child. Smile no matter what they tell you. Don't listen to a word they say, 'cause life is beautiful that way. סתם חיוך ללא סיבה, טוב ימים של אהבה, שיר ישן לאור ירח, וריח משקר שלך, וכך אותך אני זוכר. Life is beautiful that way. Woo! So thank you. Thank you for inviting us to take part in this event. Thank you for supporting education in Israel. There's nothing more important than that. I wish you all good health, sanity, and happiness. Shalom.
Achinoam, Noah, and Gil. Thank you for such exquisite music. And just as importantly, thank you for your heartfelt words about your own educational journey. I was lucky enough to hear you sing a number of years ago in California. I am not going to wait that long again between concerts. And to all the SAE staff, our genuinely visionary leaders, thank you as well. I count myself fortunate to have been involved in Jewish education for, let's just say, decades. Clearly, content and substance, tochen, is essential. But at the end of the day, no amount of content is sufficient without enthusiasm and innovation and vision. The brief images we've seen tonight make it clear that the driving force is exactly that, a vision for the future of Israeli students and for Israel itself. Kol hakavod, congratulations for carving out new 21st century paths that will not only transform individual students' lives, they'll help to create a vibrant and exciting future for Israeli society. They will, in a word, reimagine education in Israel. Like so many of you, I'm speaking to you from my makeshift office here in Cleveland. I've only been on board since August, but even in those quick few months, I've been bowled over by the sheer scope, by the audacity of SAE's mission. It's one thing to reach out and teach to one segment of a complicated society and to do it well with integrity. But SAE goes so much further. Haredi schools, schools that are genuinely pluralist, schools for Israeli Arab students, for secular students, and for traditional students. Add to that our Institute for Gender Equality, our Anshe Chayil Beit Midrash for Torah leadership, our programs that lend support to different learners, and our learning centers for the children of economic migrants and asylum seekers. What emerges is a complex, interconnected web of cultures and backgrounds and needs and challenges, a mirror image of Israel itself. And at the same time, these schools provide opportunity and a dynamic means of drawing on every community's unique strengths for a common good, also just like Israel itself. I'm fortunate not only to have joined an exceptional mission, but to be able to do that with an equally exceptional team. You've heard from Eitan Moran, and even in a few minutes, I'm sure you've intuited his strength of leadership and vision. It is a privilege, a kavod, to work with him. And alongside Eitan are a cadre of professionals, each dedicated to her or his craft, the art and the science of education. I'm particularly fortunate to work closely with Jessica Lawson-Stein and Betsy Melvin in Israel, and there is nothing AFK has achieved or will achieve without tracing it back to Larry Geiger, AFK's associate director and my colleague in the US. Limor Bar-Natan and her team in Israel were absolutely essential for the production of this event, and to the extent that we've shown through this evening, Limor owns much of that credit. Nonprofit organizations depend upon their professional leadership, but they achieve their greatest successes because of dedicated and committed lay leaders. I want to thank our board of directors for their unwavering support of Israel and of the SAE mission. We are honored to have many generous supporters, and I'd like to take this opportunity to offer my personal appreciation to two such individuals in particular for their generosity and their leadership. Maurice Kanbar and Ellen Meltzer have, through their gifts and their vision, enabled us to move forward to provide even more opportunities for more and more Israeli youth. Thank you both for stepping up and for making a difference. Our sages taught us about 1600 years ago, Lo alecha hamlecha ligmor v'lo ata ben chorim livatel mimena. You're not expected to complete the task, but neither are you free to desist from it altogether. Not one of us can accomplish what all of us can do together. I encourage you to jump on our website to learn more about SAE's extraordinary accomplishments and to see where you too can connect to the future of Israel. Your donations are true contributions in every sense of the word. And finally, while the details are still in development, I hope you'll join me later this fall on an actual, not a virtual visit to our schools in Israel. There is nothing that compares to walking in the building, to seeing students and teachers interacting, to experiencing the enthusiasm that makes learning transformational. You will hear more about this quite soon. And thank you all again. It has been a terrific night. Ray, I can't thank you enough for assuming the role of our MC tonight. It is a sheer pleasure to work with you. Ray, back to you.
Thank you, Jerry, for your enthusiasm and leadership since joining AFK just a few months ago. It's been a pleasure working alongside you. And thanks to all of you for being with us during the celebration of what SAE has accomplished and what lies ahead. But it's only been a glimpse. We invite you to join us as SAE continues to reimagine the future of education in Israel. And if you missed the virtual journal that preceded the Gala program, please stay on. We'll be showing it once again. Thank you for being with us and supporting education in Israel. Toda rabah, be well, and stay safe.